To what extent are you worried how much some of these calls, I mean, not enterprise metaverse, but the broader kind of software as being stable and high margin and still a growth area for next year, being already a bit of a consensus call?
Well, I think, the valuations are extremely high on these companies. At the same time, the growth of these companies at scale is unprecedented. I use Accenture as a proxy here, and Accenture recently had their earnings call, and they indicated they're going to have double-digit growth in the next quarter. They raised their guidance. They gave extraordinarily high guidance for the future. And they are the ones that are helping lift all this stuff into the enterprises from these mega cap companies and other companies like Salesforce, for example. So I think for 2022, we've got still a lot of work to do in the enterprise. We saw during this pandemic year that there were a lot of places where we could have used a lot better software. Our supply chains are a good example. And we've got a lot of changes going on. You mentioned climate tech, new energy platforms, electric vehicles. All of these will have different software platforms coming forward. One other thing to mention is most software developers build software by downloading components from open source repositories. And this year, it's anticipated that there'll be over 2 trillion of these components downloaded by software developers. That's over 70% more than the year before. So there's an enormous amount of new software coming to market, more than we've ever seen before. So that's an opportunity for everybody to continue on their technology innovation, to build some of these new industries we need, and that means more revenue for software companies.
Hey, Ann, I want you to pick up on that. That's my question, which is, to what extent do you see what's driving this industry coming from inflation and the attempts of companies to reduce their costs and otherwise either replace workers because of wage inflation or increase productivity generally because of higher input costs?
I think most of the growth here is not going to come from lowering the cost of operating or lowering personnel costs. It's really going to be to transform their industries so they can participate in the future. You look at the automotive sector, really they are transforming their workforce. They need different workers to run the kind of operations they have for electric vehicles, for networks of stations that power these vehicles, for maintaining the vehicles. So the real challenge here is not lowering the cost of personnel, but finding the personnel. Everybody's competing for the same type of personnel. It's a very technical rich environment that all of these companies are going to end up with, and we're all competing for the same resources, whether we're venture capitalists, Microsoft, or Ford Motor. So it really is not lowering the cost of ownership. It's the ability to participate in the future. So it is still the broader theme of digital transformation and really moving your workforce to a different level of competency.